Good evening, everybody. This is an early edition of CBS LA at 8 here on KCAL 9. We're coming on the air as LAPD North Hollywood Division is in pursuit of a suspected DUI driver northbound on the 170 freeway coming into the Sun Valley area. This driver also potentially armed with a gun. That's according to LAPD. You see those North Hollywood Division officers behind him. We have an LAPD helicopter overhead. Also overhead, is Desmond Shaw in SkyCal. Des, some tight moves there on the shoulder of the freeway.
Yeah, absolutely here. We're northbound 170, the tail end of rush hour traffic here. You know how that north 170 can get as it shuffles onto the northbound 5 getting through Sun Valley and into Pacoima, and that's what the suspect is hitting right now. So over to the right-hand shoulder with some pretty close calls there, and now into the carpool lane. So this traffic's probably going to last with us up to about Osborne is where it usually it starts to clear up. So definitely a heightened sense of danger here as the suspect trying to flee from the cops. And as you said, potentially under the influence as well. That could be another factor, just kind of heightening the danger. I'm not sure where they heard that the suspect is armed, but that is yet another factor that it could also really complicate things. And to top it all off, I think we have the usual pursuit tint as well on the vehicle. So I haven't seen how many people are inside just yet. Getting off the freeway at Sheldon, maybe getting a little bit tired of that traffic there on the 170. Let's see what they do here as they get off the freeway in Sun Valley, Mike.
Yeah, and Des Rudabeh Shabazi joining us now as well. Rudabeh, we've had some kind of mediocre speeds here. There have been a lot of traffic as this guy's been trying to navigate through this. It's, as we mentioned, LAPD's North Hollywood Division that is chasing it. Suspected DUI driver, we've not heard anything about the car being stolen, so in theory, they at least know who the registered owner is as we get off the freeway here at Sheldon and Sharp in the Sun Valley area. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. This timing, anytime on a Friday night on the roads in Southern California is going to be pretty crowded, pretty busy, and a lot of people in the path of this pursuit right now. A lot of people, and they even called that out at one point, that there was heavy traffic that they were approaching here. We've not heard any kind of requests for them to go into tracking mode, which is a little interesting given what the want is. The want is DUI, which is obviously a serious offense, but generally something that they would go into tracking mode for. If the person does have a gun, as they suspect that this person might, that could be the potential reason why they don't want to go into tracking mode. They don't generally like to track armed individuals. They like to stay with them as we navigate the intersection here at Sheldon and Roscoe. Close call there, Des.
Yeah, pretty close, southbound on Coldwater Canyon now. And yeah, like I said, we're at the tail end of rush hour Friday night now. Folks that if they haven't gotten home, they're thinking about their evening plans. So there's quite a bit of traffic out here wherever the suspect's going to be. They were down in the Arts District earlier, one of the busiest pedestrian corridors, Lankershim and Magnolia. So that was definitely dangerous. Fortunately, didn't hear about any collisions or hitting any pedestrians there, but we would have a lot of people out there walking around. Back out onto Roscoe Boulevard now. So headed back eastbound towards the 170. Could get back on the freeway, but yeah, I mean, you still see just how much cross traffic there is. Fortunately, a green light there making a northbound turn onto Arleta, so this parallels the 5 freeway. And LAPD, they've been kind of a wild card lately as far as aggression goes. Sometimes they let these go if it's on the more minor side. We saw one a couple of weeks ago though, where they did a pit maneuver on a stolen vehicle and didn't hesitate to take that person into custody. So curious to see how they're going to handle this one onto a small surface street here, Wicks Avenue. Does this even cross the 170? We're out by one of those big catch basins. So yeah, we're on the east side of the 170 now at this point, but near one of those big flood basins. And we'll see where we end up next to be hitting, making another turn here. So Sun Valley residential area, tight residential streets here. Just makes it, that much more dangerous, guys. And I want to point out really quickly, if you watched as that partner officer, the passenger officer in the lead pursuing car, is constantly trying to adjust that spotlight to be able to see inside of the car. You'll watch when they get close enough, see it right there, you see it flashing, and he's constantly trying to get in. I don't know that they have a good look about who's driving this car or potentially how many people are in it, which is probably why every time they get close enough, that partner officer is trying to shine that light as we get actually some pretty high speeds. Rudabeh, I was going back and looking at the track of close one there. Yeah. I was going back and looking at the track of the law enforcement helicopter. That's the first time we've really gotten onto small streets. Otherwise, we've been on some pretty major streets the whole time. Coldwater Canyon, Van Owen, Woodman, Lankershim, the freeways. That was the first time we really got, that was the first time we kind of got into more narrow neighborhood streets here. Just, who knows what this guy is thinking. But even on those bigger streets, really high speeds. Yeah. I mean, up to, I don't know, I saw it in the 65, 70 miles per hour on those surface streets, which, if someone's crossing the street, if someone's not paying attention,
Oh, that's
underneath. Yeah.
going underneath it. Yeah, if someone's not paying attention or just trying to cross the street or go about their day and not expecting this or anticipating this, that could be really dangerous.
And here we are back, I believe, Des, you said South 170, so kind of going in circles a little bit here.
Yeah, I kind of headed back down towards North Hollywood where we first heard about this with LAPD's North Hollywood division. So back on the freeway, we'll be down at Sherman Way. Just, I don't know, kind of seems a little bit aimless at this point, like this person doesn't really have a plan. We're thinking maybe they were going to get out and run in one of those neighborhoods by that big catch basin, but not the case. There's the blinker on. I know Mike always takes some enjoyment of that, having always pretty strange, but yeah, so, well, 80 miles an hour here, so, I mean, we do have some speeds. And let's see, we might be dealing with Burbank Airport right now. It's kind of going back and forth along the approach corridor for them. So that's why the shot is just a little bit far at the moment. But, yeah, I mean, we're headed back into another populated area. And if he continues to the other side of the hill towards Hollywood proper, obviously a big night spot, nightlife destination as well. So, what is this suspect's plan? How many people are in the car as well? Definitely. Details we would like to learn if we're able to get to the front. We'll see. And yeah, we're definitely dealing with Burbank Airport right now, but we'll see if we get an opportunity to get to the front of the vehicle and see if we can peek through that windshield here, hopefully in a couple of minutes.
I was just going to ask, it looks like it's the tinted window.
The pursuit tint.
Yes, the pursuit tint. That They always seem to have tinted windows. So we don't know. We think this driver is alone, right?
Well, we're not sure. And actually, so just a second ago, the airship said that they think something was thrown out of the passenger window. So potentially you could have a passenger in there. They said that was at Roscoe in the 170, and they asked for an officer to go back to Roscoe in the 170 and look for something that potentially was thrown out of the passenger side window. So that is unclear. Did the driver just roll down the passenger window and toss it out? Is there somebody in the passenger seat that threw something out as well? As Des waits for this United flight to cross the 170 into Burbank Airport so that we can cross the 170 at Burbank Airport and get behind them. They're talking about some heavy traffic as you come up to the 170. As you go down the 170, as it connects to the 101, we know, especially on a Friday night, that does start to stack up. This guy has not loved traffic. Every time he kind of gets hit with some traffic, he backs out pretty quickly and gets off on surface streets. So Juan and Rudabay will have to see if he's going to get off, if he wants to still deal with the traffic. LAPD not giving this one up and not going into tracking mode. They're staying in full-blown pursuit with
Mike, something that always surprises me when I see a pursuit of a DUI suspect is how well they drive. Right?
Yeah.
It seems like they're getting in and out of traffic, moving into the carpool lane, getting off the freeway, back on the freeway, going up at high speeds. Do we know how the impairment?
No, and I think that's one. I think that's a really good thing to point out to our viewers. The DUI is the probable cause for them to make the traffic stop, right? Okay. So we don't definitively know that this
may
person
or may not be
right. We don't know that this person's under the influence until they have them and run those tests. But the DUI was the probable cause for the officer to make the stop. And then it took off. But I would agree with you. This person is not necessarily driving like they're under the influence. We're using turn signals. We're doing things like that. Relatively able to maintain lanes, navigate traffic as they come through some bigger intersections. So, yeah, who knows if they're under the influence or not. But that is the probable cause for the officer to attempt to make the traffic stop.
There's the turn signal again.
Yeah. Well, the wrong way, though. He's got his right turn signal on and getting in the left lane. So.
Well, let's hope, it's a Friday night. Mike and Rudabay, we're close to Halloween. I know a lot of neighborhoods.
Close one there.
That really close.
Yeah.
A lot of neighborhoods, people are out tonight, maybe enjoying some early Halloween parties. And this guy, as long as he stays on the freeway, at least things will stay safer. Des, where'd he go?
Well, he just got off the freeway now. He's coming up. He's going to be stuck. Oh, let's see what he does here. Okay, weird intersection here. If you know Riverside, Camarillo, and Tujunga, where they all come together. So this is how you would get off the freeway if you wanted to get to the westbound 101 from the southbound 170. It kind of looks like that's what the suspect is potentially doing here. We're just dealing with some sound walls. Let's see if that's what they're going to do, if they're trying to get on the 101, and indeed that's what they're doing. Northbound, westbound 101 now, kind of a minor miracle that he didn't get caught up in that intersection there at Riverside and Camarillo. Could be a very tricky and aggravating one if you know the North Hollywood area. Yeah. So we'll see what kind of traffic he's going to be dealing with now. Totally different beast, this 101. And as I'm looking up ahead, it's actually not too bad. Might have a little pinch up around the 405, kind of typical this time of the evening. It's the eastbound side that still is kind of in evening commute mode right now, but that's not going to affect him here. So we had some speeds up to about 100 miles an hour there briefly on the southbound 170, then pulled that fast one to try to ditch the cops. It didn't work. And, you know, definitely wondering what the suspect threw out of the vehicle back there at the 170 at Roscoe. Very common tactic with a lot of these suspects. You know, there was thought that this person could be armed, so worth wondering if that's what was thrown out, and if LAPD was able to find that and recover it as we now start to pick up the speeds here, leaving North Hollywood and heading into Studio City and beyond.
Mike, you can almost hear the helicopter over our studios right here.
Des is right on top of us as this goes through the Studio City area. We can hear the blades.
We can hear you, Des.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hello.
So tell us, recap for us, in case viewers are just joining us right now, Mike and Desmond, where this started. The want was a DUI initially, and now they think that the suspect might have a gun.
Right.
And where the driver has gone so far.
Right. So we started this, North Hollywood Division picked this up. It looks like it came maybe, you know, across Sherman Way into the Valley Glen area. They kind of messed around in the Valley Glen area a little bit, then southbound 170, got off in North Hollywood, came back up Lancashire, back on the 170 northbound, almost making it to the 5, where the 5 and the 170 connect. He went through some small surface streets up there in the Arleta area, back south on the 170, off at Tahunga, and now we are, you know, west/north on the 101 freeway here, coming into the Sherman Oaks area, which is the furthest away he has gotten from where this chase started. Now, LAPD North Hollywood Division got in pursuit of this because of a potential DUI driver. They have also made their officers aware, as we're going really fast on the northbound 101, have made their officers aware that their driver possibly is armed with a gun. It is unclear how they know that or where they got that information. If an officer saw something, it's also very possible that this person is known to the officers. And so if they've had issues with this person before, they could potentially be aware that this person in the past has had a firearm, and that's why they're warning the officers. I do also hear that they are trying to activate LAPD's K9 unit to come and be a part of this pursuit for what they're calling post-pursuit tactics, which essentially means if this guy gets out and runs at the end of the chase, they'll want to have a K9 there to be able to handle that. LAPD's K9 is a little bit different than some of the other agencies. LAPD's K9 rolls out of Metropolitan Division. They generally come as a whole unit with 5 or 6 K9s, not just one. These are not just regular officers that are on patrol. Heavy traffic, according to the airship. We can see it in Desmond's shot there as he tries to navigate this, Des.
Yeah, this is the traffic I was speaking about here. I think we all know.
Always.
If you driven to the Valley 101 around the 405, it almost seems like it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. One of the busiest interchanges in the country, even here.
Wow, look at that.
Kind of squeezing right by there. Yeah, at Van Nuys Boulevard. So this is where it tends to kind of gum up from here, getting through the 405 to about Balboa, and let's see how the suspect decides to handle that. They, like you said, Mike, didn't like that traffic on the 170. It didn't hesitate to get off the freeway there earlier, and this is going to be a similar situation. And, you know, could be, well, I was thinking maybe an opportunity for a spike strip or something, but I don't think they're going to have enough time to get in place for anything like that. And then, you know, if there is a gun in the car, that kind of complicates those tactics as well. But, yeah, I mean, look, he's flying right by these cars here that are practically stopped. And anyone makes a quick move into another lane, and he's going to trade pain at the very least with one of these cars. But let's see if we saw him go on the shoulder on the 170 as well. So not afraid to do that, and there he goes right here. So could potentially get off at Sepulveda or try to take this over towards the 405. But it's usually the connector to the southbound 405 that causes all this, and then people coming from the north 405 to the westbound 101. Right there on the shoulder, all kinds of junk there that could give him a flat tire. We've seen some suspects basically self-spike themselves that way before. We'll see if they hit anything like that and did any damage to their tires as we continue to try to fight through the 101 405 interchange.
Yeah, it looks like he might stay there on the 101 freeway, because there goes the off ramps, right, that take you to the northbound or southbound 405, right?
Yeah, unless he goes over the pavement right here, which something we also saw fairly recently. But yeah, now it looks like he's pretty committed to the 101, and you're going to have traffic coming in from the 405 on the left side of the freeway continuing here. But yeah, LAPD, they are right there behind him. So they are taking a more aggressive tact on this pursuit for sure. Their helicopter as well overhead, and so just going to have some kind of stop and go here as we get through the interchange, as you see the traffic there coming on from the 405 north to the westbound 101, and it's kind of got to be this aggravating traffic for at least another mile or so, zigging and zagging to try to get away from the authorities.
Yeah. Mike, at this point, they're not going to let this one go, right? I mean, even though LAPD not as aggressive as other agencies, it looks like with the spotlight on, and here we have the units behind, they're not letting this one go yet.
Yeah, they're pretty committed to this. They've not gone into tracking mode at all, which I was a little bit surprised about because, obviously DUI is a very serious allegation. However, that is something that they would generally track. They wouldn't generally stay in this. Now, there is the portion of potentially having a gun, so that adds a wrinkle to it as well. So I'm just listening to the radio here. But and I've not heard them ask for CHP yet either. Actually, as I say that, they're actually asking to notify CHP now. So it sounds like because we've stayed on the freeway for a decent chunk of time here, they may want CHP to come get involved and take this over, which would make sense. I mean, CHP could chase it, a lot longer than the LAPD could. So we'll keep an eye on CHP and see if they're going to try to get into position here. But this guy's got no problem, maneuvering his way, for an alleged DUI driver, to your point, Juan. He's got no issues, trying to weave in and out of this traffic here.
And we know, or at least we think it's his car, right?
Yeah, no reports of it being stolen, right? And I think that could potentially be the reason why we've seen LAPD stick with this and why they haven't gone into tracking mode. It makes me think that they potentially know who this person is and have maybe some prior contacts with him, that maybe where the gun portion of this came into play. It would appear that they probably at least know who the registered owner is of the car because, as I said, it's not been reported stolen.
Would relatives or friends maybe let officers know, hey, he may have a gun?
Certainly, yeah, and we don't know.
We've heard of that, right?
Yeah, we don't know the circumstances behind this DUI or the alleged DUI either. If this was somebody that called it in or what the circumstances might be. But yeah, certainly they may obviously have additional knowledge here. CHP is now asking the airship to now simulcast on the CHP frequency as well, so that CHP can start getting involved in this too. So we'll probably see here soon a swap out, it sounds like, between the LAPD and the CHP.
And pretty dense traffic now. This driver is going fast. I mean, we've seen some pursuits lately that have been more slow speed pursuits on surface streets, etc., or even on freeways, but not really speeding. But this person was going, 60, 70 miles per hour on surface streets and also going pretty fast on the freeway. But the traffic is so dense right now.
Yeah, it's just really not
a lot of places to go.
You're right. And I think, Des, it clears up soon, right?
Yeah, it usually starts to clear up around. He might have hit that car right there. It was really close. Really, really close. So see if we can see any damage on the vehicle there. But that was very, very close to
contact.
Looks
like he sideswiped that one car.
I mean, boy, it might have. Did he lose his mirror there? No, I can't. Looks like the mirror's still there. But that was definitely the closest call we've seen, maybe just a couple of millimeters away there. And this will start to clear up kind of between Balboa and Reseda as we head towards the West Valley, and we're headed, right very close to CHP's West Valley office off of DeSoto Avenue. So they're probably, getting the engines warmed up for this one to get involved. And then again, I just have to wonder where the suspect is headed, if they're just buying time before they find a place they like to get out and run, or if they have something in mind or on the phone with someone to help them out with this situation, which we have been seeing more so recently. Still hard to say at this point, but this traffic will be clearing up if the suspect sticks with it, and we'll be into the West Valley and kind of headed towards Ventura County if we stick with the 101.
And now, guys, I can tell you 15L90, which is the North Hollywood Watch Commander, has officially requested CHP to take over. So the airship, the LAPD airship, is now trying to coordinate with those CHP officers to get in position here to take this over. What's interesting is, originally we heard the want come out as a DUI suspect. Then we heard the mention of the possible gun. Now the air unit, when requesting CHP, is primarily calling this a pursuit of a man with a gun.
Okay.
So it's kind of, they seem pretty confident in that weapon portion of it. So this airship is requesting CHP for a man with a gun. So that's what they're asking CHP to take over for. The watch commander over at North Hollywood Division said, yes, please have CHP take over. So now hopefully we'll see this coordination where CHP will take over because, we're still in the city of LA and we've got a while before that, but, we are starting to get well away from North Hollywood's division. We are, I think, even in the West Valley division, we're 2 divisions away now from North Hollywood where this started. So certainly the North Hollywood Watch Commander is going to want to get their people back to North Hollywood, especially if they can have CHP take.
They're getting out of the area. And Mike, man with the gun, that changes everything as to how they approach this car, right?
Certainly.
Regarding who's following, how many units follow.
Right, and that would, I mean, you know, LAPD's got a pretty I don't want to say rigid, but pretty good policies of if this, then that. And generally that is, if a person is armed, we don't go into tracking, which is potentially why we haven't seen tracking, especially now if they're kind of making that the primary reason they're chasing this person is a potential man with a gun. That would be why we haven't seen tracking. That was likely why they haven't let it go yet. And now we're trying to hand it off to the CHP.
And even the way they confront the suspect,
Oh, yeah.
right? Spike strips, getting out of the car.
Yeah, that changes a
all
lot,
of
certainly.
those things.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before, and it kind of depends on the officers and the tactics that they want to use. But we have certainly seen before LAPD take a more back kind of seat here if they don't want to do spikes or pits on a potential. Oh, now they're talking about it. CHP's. Excuse me, CHP unit is maybe 2 exits behind the car trying to catch up. So it sounds like CHP is close to getting into place here.
Mike, and once they do the switch out, does that mean LAPD just is hands off from that point on?
Yeah, so
what?
CHP's policy, CHP's pursuit policy is it's all theirs or it's not at all theirs. They don't do the mixed agencies. Like we have some, like Orange County will do mixed. You'll have a bunch of different small agencies in it. San Bernardino will do that too. But CHP says, nope, we want it all or we don't want it at all.
So we'll handle everything from the arrest, taking this person to jail for the night?
It really, that depends on where it ends. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll have LAPD, what they call it, pick up the body. They'll have the original LAPD division come grab the suspect and they'll handle the booking.
Okay.
It really kind of depends on what happens during the pursuit. If during the pursuit the suspect hits a bunch of cars while CHP's got it or does some other alleged crime while CHP's chasing it, then CHP will probably just take the arrest and everything. But if CHP takes it and then this guy just gives up, they'll probably have LAPD come back.
I think this is what makes it so interesting, right? When we're following these pursuits and we're basically watching it with our viewers unfold as it happens, and still so many different factors, Mike, like you're saying, who takes over, who gets the suspect once he's in handcuffs, and where it goes from there. So many variables that are still unknown at this time.
Yeah, and when and if and where he'll exit.
Right. And then, I mean, who knows if we'll go that far, but in theory, we're headed west, and once we get through Agora Hills, we'll be in Ventura County. So then does Ventura County take him, and how does all that play out? It really depends on kind of what happens during the chase. I would say that at the rate we're going, with no additional alleged crimes happening during this chase, if it were to just simply end, LAPD would take it, and CHP probably wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. And LAPD would actually drive out the distance if it is even in Ventura County?
And now there's a second pursuit going on. So LAPD's Foothill Division has another pursuit back in the valley near Burbank. They're also chasing, they're calling it a group with a gun. So I don't know if there's more than one person. That sounds like a gang unit that's in pursuit up there. So LAPD is definitely going to want to give this up to CHP as quickly as they can so that they can get back to their side of town and deal with what's going on over in their side of town.
Yeah, you guys remember just a few weeks ago, there were 2 pursuits passing each other on the freeway. Remember, Desmond, you had a shot of that. It was something, I think it was a first for you, wasn't it?
It was a first and was very LA for sure. 2 of them on the 5 freeway as well, crossing each other. And boy, yeah, I mean, now we've got 2 pursuits on with the World Series. I guess they're not Dodger fans out here. So westbound 101 through Woodland Hills. That CHP officer we're here still attempting to catch up at this point. There they are, right on cue. So now this is CHP that's going to be in pursuit. They're hanging back just a little bit here at the moment, and then we'll see how aggressive they want to take this. Up around 80 miles an hour, between 80 and 90. I think we saw 100 miles an hour just for a brief clip on the southbound 170. Now that he's through traffic, we're not really seeing too much of the crazy desperation to get from one lane to the other, or the right shoulder or center divider to squeeze by traffic. Just kind of sticking to the middle of the roadway. If they're trying to formulate a plan, or, I don't know, that they had initially said suspected DUI. Maybe, I think we've had instances in the past with suspects that kind of ride this out to try to sober up. But, I mean, you're going to end up in handcuffs one way or another, regardless. So, yeah, I always just kind of wonder with these suspects that just kind of go on and on and on. And past Canoga, so, yeah, we are by CHP's West Valley office. We just passed it. They're back at DeSoto, not too far away from the Topanga Plaza Mall, the Topanga Village, busy areas, but sticking with the 101 and into West Hills, and then we'll be up and over the hill through Calabasas and Agoura if they continue with this clip.
Dramatically different traffic situation, as you guys were just mentioning. And the radios and the scanners haven't said anything about hitting that car, right? Because we saw it was either really a close call or it clipped that other car, which would then add to the charges and add to the want.
Right, and I've not heard the airship or the ground units mention that at all. I think we have that video our producer was just telling me. There you go on the right side of your screen. Really close there. I mean,
there's like a dust up of something, Mike. We saw that. That's why I thought maybe that they had hit the car.
Maybe a paint swap or something. I mean, that was very tight.
Right there.
Probably the tightest move that we have seen throughout the course of this chase. I mean, yeah, he just was desperate to get through that traffic. I mean, luckily for the public, but excuse me, unfortunately for everyone else, he's got some more open freeway speeds here, so he's going a lot faster, but less traffic to contend with.
Yeah, so the live picture is on the left-hand side. It's a lot darker than it was when there was all that traffic. A lot more wide open, too. But the speed's still the same, basically. Not really picking up that much speed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is 80 miles an hour is not unheard of for California drivers, for sure.
Right.
And that's what we're at here, 82 miles an hour as we come through. Now, CHP took over just in the nick of time because we are just about to leave the city of LA. And LAPD gets real antsy when they are chasing people outside of their city. So we're coming into Mulholland is, I think, going to be our next exit here as we cross through this into the Calabasas area. Further along the 101, we're going to get into Agora Hills, Westlake Village, and then end up in Ventura County. So who knows how far this guy wants to take it. CHP, though, as we have talked about before, is a state agency, and they can take it as long as they want. We can go all the way to the state line if we want with the CHP. Now, it will be interesting to see how long the LAPD helicopter wants to hang around because they got a lot going on in their city. So we'll see. They're still with it. Let me just check really quick and see if we've got an airship. Yep, H-58 from Fullerton, Des, is coming up for CHP. So, from Fullerton to Calabasas, we'll see them, by our 9 o'clock hour.
Mike, how much more aggressive could CHP get here? I mean, traveling 80 miles an hour, there's cars around. I mean, there's little you can do other than follow, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we get to a spot on the freeway where it's really open and traffic is really light, they could potentially try a spike strip. It's so unusual to do that. I mean, we saw that one. It was a homicide suspect, maybe like a month ago now, where they did a traffic break, forced the guy to the shoulder, and then set up a spike strip. That was a really remarkable spike that I've probably ever seen. But I would be surprised if they tried that here. CHP is a lot more content to kind of let this guy tire himself out or run over something on the shoulder and pop his own tire or something like that. They'll let this, as aggressive as they are, they're not going to do a lot when we're going 80 miles an hour on the freeway.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating not to be able to see in. We don't even know if there's anyone else in the car, right? We don't know.
And we've never heard, I don't know that the LAPD or the airship was able to get that answer either. I mean, there was that brief mention of them throwing something out the window at Roscoe on the 170, and that came out of the passenger side, but I don't know if that came from a passenger or if that was the driver who rolled down the passenger window and tossed something out. It didn't ever seem like they could make that distinction. And it's also, I don't know if they ever actually found anything over there. I know they went over there, but I'm not sure if they ever actually were able to get anything out of it. So yeah, so here we are, CHP, northbound 101 through Calabasas now. It looks like our next major is going to be Las Virgenes. So really making some progress here.
And getting away from the densest parts of the city too, which also makes for what this driver might think is a quicker getaway. But as we know, as you're saying, Mike, with CHP officers right behind them, they're not going to be giving this up. They can go as far as they'd like, as far up to, the state border. I mean, really, right?
Head on up to Oregon. CHP will be there the whole way behind you.
Yeah, they made their way through the entire valley, basically.
Yeah. I mean,
a short amount of time.
And you could tell that at some point he was trying to figure out what he was going to do because we're up and down the 170. We're off and on in Sun Valley, Valley Glen, North Hollywood, up and down the 170 back and forth. And then all of a sudden they just shot out west on the 101. And that's just kind of where we've been. We haven't stopped at all through that. As soon as we got onto that 101 at Tahunga there, he's really just let that be his move. And now we're almost out of LA County. A couple more, miles and we'll be on the Ventura County line. Yeah,
pursuit of a DUI suspect. We're being told this driver may have a gun as well. It started in North Hollywood, ended up in Valley Glen, the 170 North, the 170 South, the 5 freeway for a little bit almost, then the 170 again, off at Tahunga, Sherman Oaks, Encino, and once he got on the 101 northbound, it kept going. And now, Mike, as we see here, Agora Hills, Malibu area here, and very little traffic around him, and CHP not far behind.
Yeah, and Des, we said this is a great Nissan Sentra. That looks right to you?
Sentra or an Altima? I'm not sure. The Altima's the bigger, the full-size one, a little bit more powerful engine.
Newer model,
We'll see if
though.
I get a text from my, definitely a newer one. No question about that, but maybe still just a 4-cylinder engine, although we are up to just about 90 miles an hour now at this point, kind of on the upper end of the economy car spectrum, I would say. Maybe, let's see if we can zoom in here. Yeah, definitely a Nissan, just can't quite tell if it's a Sentra or an Altima, the Sentra being the more economical of the two. As we widen out, you can see, I mean, we don't anticipate hitting any traffic now as we are just about into Ventura County. However, my pilot Dylan saying we could have some low cloud issues over by the Conejo grade. We'll see if the suspect goes that far. As we go by the Annenberg Wildlife Crossing right there, which will be opening in the next year. We've been definitely talking quite a bit about that, and the Caltrans work that's had the 101 closures for the last couple of years is pretty much complete at this point. So not going to have any construction issues out here. Not any ongoing projects that I'm aware of that would cause any big lane constrictions or any serious traffic here on a Friday evening. Most people that are headed to Ventura County already did that in the afternoon, head up there for the weekend. And so this is going to be pretty easy going for the suspect if they want to continue this as far as traffic conditions go. And here you can see the 3 CHP units that are on the ground. LAPD still has their helicopter overhead. It's going to take Fuller, the CHP's helicopter or fixed wing, whichever one, a long time to get up here since they're coming all the way from
Maywood right now, Des.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and then, if we've got low clouds up ahead, it might end up being kind of, fruitless anyway for them. So, but, where is this guy headed after coming out of North Hollywood? Seems pretty aimless at this point, unless they're about to head up towards Santa Barbara or something, or have really no idea at this point. But not too often that we get pursuits headed up into Ventura County, and then we'll see how CHP's Ventura County is going to handle this, or if they want to get one of their helicopters involved, that they're even able to once we get to the West Valley. Again, we're not sure how low those clouds are on the other side of the hill, but up there against the mountains could be an issue for us if this continues.
If you're just joining us here on CBS LA at 8 on KCAL 9, we want to welcome you to an early edition. This is Susie Sell alongside Juan Fernandez, Mike Rogers at the desk, and you just heard Desmond Shaw and his crew in SkyCal. We've been watching this pursuit for about 20 minutes now. This is a pursuit of a DUI suspect, possibly with a gun. The CHP just taking over, and their want for this person is a man with a gun. So they're taking every precaution right now, but also not letting this go into tracking mode as the LAPD was chasing this entire time. Let's go over to Mike Rogers at the desk for just a second. Yep. Mike, I want to ask you about that. The CHP, when they take over, and the LAPD was not certainly going to tracking mode yet, the CHP probably not going to do that either.
Yeah, no, and it's the whole thing's been kind of interesting about this whole firearm thing. Nobody has really gotten a clear idea of why LAPD thinks there's a gun in the car. We've even called the LAPD and said, do you know why those officers think that? And they don't know right now. So it's really unclear where that bit all came from. But so this originally started as a DUI driver. We were listening to it, and then at some point they say the driver possibly has a gun. At no point did they go into tracking mode, which is unusual for a DUI suspect. DUI, obviously, as I've mentioned, is a very serious allegation. However, it is generally something that LAPD will track. And they just haven't this whole time. And it's potentially because of that bit with the gun, but no one's been really clear on why they think that. Even the CHP now that they've taken over is trying to sort that out and figure out where this gun thing came from. The LAPD helicopter, when they asked CHP to take over, they didn't even initially tell CHP this was DUI. They billed it to CHP as a man with a gun. So that's when they asked them to take over. Now CHP is back to this is a DUI suspect, possibly with a gun. So it's all very interesting, and it sounds like the sergeant for the West Valley station is trying to sort that out. But now it's going to be Camarillo's deal, as we or Moore Park, I should say, CHP, Ventura CHP, as we just now are crossing the county line into Ventura County. So those units will start to get in place. They'll do a swap out of the ones we've got. The West Valley units will go back to West Valley. The Ventura units will take over and will continue northbound on the 101. But for these units to continue to chase this, they're probably going to want to figure that out and figure out the gun thing. So it sounds like they're trying to sort that out with the LAPD and figure out why LAPD thinks this person has a gun, where that information came from. and all of that. I know, because I heard them call it out, they do have the license plate. It has not come back stolen. So in theory, you would assume that they have run the plate. They know who the registered owner is, which kind of goes back to my initial thought of potentially the LAPD units have dealt with this person before. Maybe LAPD knows who this guy is and knows that he is known to have a gun, and that's how the gun thing came into play. It's really difficult to kind of tell right now because there's not a lot of clarity on the gun.
And I'm wondering, Mike, maybe a ground unit saw something that may have looked like a gun. It could have been a reflection off a cell phone or something like that. So they're treating this. They're treating this as something a lot more serious than a DUI suspect out for a ride. And Desmond, I think we're getting our first real look from the front of the vehicle here, right?
Well, we're really trying here. It just hasn't been enough light on the freeway to be able to see inside, to see if we can see anyone in the passenger seat there. And all the tints around the vehicles. We're going to see a little bit of a movement there with the driver.
I don't think there's a passenger, though.
It doesn't really look like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best look we're getting right now, and I don't see anyone in the passenger seat. So unless he's chauffeuring someone in the back, it looks like it is just the suspect in there. And let's widen out right here, and you can see just how empty the freeway is now as we make our way into Thousand Oaks and coming up to the 23 freeway right here. So that will be another option, but for the suspect. But they're sticking to the left lanes. Like, well, I say that, and then he gets over. We'll see if they're going to stick with the 101 and head towards Western Ventura County, or make a last-second move for the 23 that would take us towards Moore Park and Fillmore. And it looks like, they're going to stick with the northbound 101. So not too far away from the Oaks Mall and Moore Park Avenue, where a lot of people would be out on a Friday night in Thousand Oaks. But other than that, just sticking with the freeway, it is pretty empty out here. And I mean, I do kind of wonder if CHP might be interested in using a spike strip or something, just because the traffic is so much lighter out here, and the suspect has been driving too erratically, kind of typically sticking to one area of the freeway. A potential opportunity, but you know, it's always kind of hard to say. Like Mike said, you know, it is definitely fairly rare to see on the freeway. I thought maybe that was a CHP.
Oh, was that on the side there?
It looked like, I'll have to go back and look. I don't think that was a CHP unit, though. I think that was just
maybe spike strip.
Caught all our eye.
It's interesting because, you know, earlier when we were doing this, the traffic really made him antsy. He really didn't like the heavy traffic on surface streets and on the freeway. You know, he was doing anything he could to weave in and out of cars. As soon as he got west of like the 405 and west of all that traffic, he really, as the right side of your screen, this is him going in and out. This is the closest call that we saw where he tried to, right between the guardrail and that car. We're not sure if he traded paint. It kind of looked like he did, but it's hard to tell. But as soon as he got past all of this, the driving has been very consistent. We've not seen wild lane changes. Speeds have been relatively the same. It was just getting through that traffic. He really didn't like the traffic. That's what forced him off of the 170. That's what got him back on the 101 to try to avoid it. So now that we're traffic free here, essentially on the 101, things have really kind of calmed down a little bit.
And Desmond, is there any way to say, you were saying earlier that there's some low clouds in the area, the marine layer coming in, and any way to know how long of a time would we have up in the air as well as law enforcement?
Juan, that's actually something Dylan and I are talking about right now. And now as we're getting over by Lynn Road, right there by the Oaks Mall, just a few more miles, I'd say about 3 more miles before, or maybe even sooner than that. Actually, Dylan's saying half that, about 1.5 miles before we get cut off. So, you know, that's going to be another consideration here for the authorities, that they're not going to be able to get any aircraft through those low clouds as well. You know, how aggressive are they going to want to stay with this? I mean, if they're going to stay on the ground, they're probably going to need to close in and not give the suspect any leash to get out of the car and run. You know, there are quite a few wilderness areas here, or in parking garages as well, in Ventura County, that, you know, could definitely aid the suspect. So the weather is going to play into the suspect's favor here as they just continue to cruise around Ventura County, northbound 101. And we'll keep this as long as we can, but it may be possible that the clouds are not so low on the other side of the mountains that a ship from Western Ventura County might be able to get involved with this on the other side. But we're not going to be able to get through the Conejo Grade and towards Camarillo to continue.
So it's not like their airship has some sort of technology that would allow them to fly through through some low clouds or marine layer conditions, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if CHP has that, if they have or are IFR equipped to go through. I'm thinking that
probably not. Huh?
Yeah, Dylan is shaking his head that they do not, and you can see the clouds now as they come in. We are getting right to about the edge here as we are by Windy Drive, beginning to climb the Conejo grade, and yeah, it's I'm from Ventura. I can tell you it's not uncommon to get those low clouds at any time of the year, especially after we have like a bout of nice weather. And so here we go, kind of disappearing there into the clouds. There is, you see we're still on the 101 freeway, but yeah, disappearing under some thick
Incredible
clouds
how
and
quickly
on
that
the
happened.
downhill
Yeah, it
side
really
of the
was.
Conejo grade.
Yeah, and probably not the best time to ask you this, Desmond, but we were noticing when you were pulling out your shot a bit, of course the ground units have been on this chase the entire time between the LAPD and the CHP now. But I noticed that there were 4 units, 4, 5, 6 units actually behind this chase. And Mike, maybe you can speak to this too. I imagine they called extra units in on top of what they usually chase with, because of the fact that this is not only a DUI suspect, because of the possibility of that gun.
Right, they're going to want some extra units to be in there to be involved. And I'll just tell you really quickly, because I know we're going to wrap up our coverage here, but the CHP helicopter has stopped trying to come. The CHP helicopter has turned around as well. So yeah, they just requested a Ventura County Sheriff Air unit to come up.
Mike, and before we wrap up this coverage here, we were telling our audience there was 2 pursuits going on at the same time.
The other one's over.
The other one is over. Okay, very good.
Well, night of pursuits here, and it looks like this person, the authorities, they know who this person is. They actually know the license plate number and everything like that. So maybe they'll catch up with him later. But in the meantime, join us for CBS LA at 8 for an update on this news. For Ron Fernandez, I'm Susie Suh from Mike Rogers at the desk, and Desmond Shaw and his crew in SkyCal. We'll see you shortly in about 19 minutes.